So we're just traveling to Southern California right now to take a little vacation, and we thought this would be the perfect time to just be able to record our love story. The kids are sleeping in the back and it's quiet, we can kind of think, and there's nothing else to do.
So when I met you, I wasn't really looking for you, I guess you could say.
You weren't looking for a female?
That's not really what I had in mind when I did meet you.
Yeah.
My mom heard about this event going on called a shindig. It was in Texas, and all my siblings were going along. My dad had to stay home and take care of the farm, but and I was pretty busy with the business I was doing at the time, and hadn't really thought about it and didn't really think about going, I guess, but my mom talked me into it because she wanted somebody responsible to help drive, I guess, and she signed me up for it and all of that.
So one of my older brothers, Luke, he heard about this shindig and he wanted to go check it out, and he asked me to come with him just because he wanted someone to go along. And it sounded interesting to me, but I'm not really a people person, and I was kind of scared to go. But him and my mom talked me into going, so I was like, yeah, I guess I'll do it. So we made the long trip out there, and I knew the purpose of the shindig was for guys and girls to meet, and I was really scared about that. I was like, what if some guy tries to come up and talk to me? My brother's like, well, talk to him, you idiot. I was like, oh, well, I guess I could. But anyways, yeah, I wasn't necessarily going to meet a guy either. I knew there would be guys there, of course, but that's not what I was going for. So I was basically just going because my brother asked me to come along.
So we got there and met a bunch of cool people the first day. I didn't actually see Rachel until some of the kids got a volleyball game going, and so I hopped into that because I'm always into some good volleyball. And
I was playing already on the one side.
Okay.
And I just have to throw this in there. Remember your mom put pictures of all you kids on the shindig site? There was this weird thing where you could, if you were coming, you could upload a photo of yourself, and his mom put all these pictures on of her kids, and I saw him on there, and I remember thinking that, oh wow, that guy, he's really attractive. I bet he's gonna have all the girls swarming around him. I thought he kind of looked like a pretty boy or something, and that was my opinion that I concluded of you. So yeah, I was playing volleyball first, and then did you see me when you walked up?
Yeah, I noticed you playing ball, and the first thing I noticed was how you kind of went all out after the ball. You had this big old long skirt on and looked pretty uncomfortable and difficult to play in, but
yeah, a really long jean skirt.
You were getting it done pretty good, so I noticed that. And, well, you of course were pretty and all of that, but I hadn't met you yet, so I didn't really know your personality or anything, but I thought I could kind of tell you were quieter, which was attractive to me. So we got in and started playing on the next game, I guess, and I ended up on your team. First thing was I noticed how pretty you are and then how well you played volleyball. Kind of like that.
In that order?
Well, I guess, yeah. So then, was it that evening I got to talk to you?
Yeah, I think so.
So I got to know her older brother Luke pretty well throughout the day, and then we all ended up talking before one of the sessions, one of the teaching sessions, and
yeah, I think there was 4 of us. It was you, me, our brother Luke, and another guy.
Yeah. So we all were there just chatting, and then Luke and the other guy went to sit down, and
they walked off and left me and Marlin there.
I didn't mind. And so I got to talk to you and get to know a little bit of your background and got to know your personality, and that's when I was like, wow, she's kind of everything that I'd want in a girl. And but then I asked her how old she was, and come to find out she was only 18, and I was like, wow, that's not going to work. I never really met an 18-year-old girl that'd be mature enough to think about a relation or a serious relationship, I guess. And I was 24 at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then the more we talked, and we kind of got into our beliefs, and it was pretty amazing. Everything was kind of on the same page for the most part. She was raised Baptist, I was raised Mennonite. So to me, what really thrilled me, I guess, on top of everything else, was how much we were on the same page as far as Scripture goes, and God's grace and Christ's righteousness and all of that. So at that point, I was very interested.
You were hooked.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and I was too. Like I'd say I was really, really interested in you, but I was super cautious too, just because of, stories of like other girls getting hooked up with a guy and they're not what, they made themselves look like they were. Like they're something other than what they made themselves sound like. And
Yeah.
so I was kind of a little bit afraid of that. Yeah, afraid that you might be being fake or something. But all the things you said, I was just super excited about them. And then I called my mom. I think it was that same evening after I talked to you, I called my mom, and I was just so excited I could barely talk. I was like trying to catch my breath and saying how that if he's all these things that he says he is, then he's like the perfect guy and all this stuff. I don't know if she knew what to think or not. I don't know if she was scared or not. I think she was interested. She thought it sounded interesting.
We got to hang out a little bit more throughout that weekend, and got to know each other fairly well. But let's see, the last day we were there, we all decided to travel back home together, even though you guys followed us, I guess.
Yeah.
We were heading back to Pennsylvania. You guys were going back to Knoxville from Texas, and so we all stopped to eat pretty late that evening, and I was thinking, well, maybe this is the last time that I'd see you, and so I really wanted to say something, like make my feelings known to you, I guess.
Yeah.
But with all those people around, I didn't really have the nerve to do it and make an awkward situation. So we just said bye to each other and parted ways. And
you had my brother's number though. You got Luke's number,
yeah.
So.
Yeah, you didn't have a cell phone or something, right?
I had one, but I kind of avoided giving it to you because I didn't know if I was allowed to give my phone number out to guys.
Yeah.
It was really sad when you and your family left, and I remember driving on the highway back to our house, and I was driving and I kept trying to see if I could catch up to you guys in your black van, but you guys were gone. That was the end of it for then.
So we got home, and the next day I was like, maybe I'll kind of move on and forget about her, and things will get back to normal, and it wasn't much of anything, but I was seeking God in it, I guess, and just thinking like, this really is something I should follow up on, but I wasn't really sure how to do that. And then a couple days later, I actually got a text from somebody, and here it was Rachel, and she mentioned something about coming down for Thanksgiving.
That was really funny though. Whenever I sent you that text about inviting you down for Thanksgiving, well, I had to get my parents' permission and my brother's permission first, because I didn't want to just go text this guy I didn't really know that well. And they all thought it was a great idea, so I texted them, and I kind of invited like your family, right? Like you and your family.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just really funny. Like the very first text back, it was like you were just waiting for me to ask you to come or something. You're like, yeah, I'd be into that. I could probably come. It was so funny. I was so tickled. Oh, I was so giddy. I think I had all of my brothers and my mom and dad laughing and stuff. But, so yeah. So what was it like when you came driving up to this strange driveway?
I guess I was pretty nervous about it at first. And then
So was I.
met your dad for the first time, and he was just this really cool, goofy guy. No, not really, but so when I saw you again for the first time, it was all the same feelings and everything kind of picked up where it left off when we parted ways at that thing we were at.
Yeah.
And I knew that I needed to somehow talk to you about it, but I had no idea when or how that would happen. And throughout the whole weekend we were there, I kept thinking about it, wanting to talk to you, but there's all these people around all the time, and I just couldn't find the opportunity to do it. So
Yeah, it was just such a group setting the whole time, pretty much.
yeah.
There was never any like catching each other just by ourselves somewhere.
Mm-hmm. But then we on Sunday, I think it was, wasn't it? Or Saturday night, we went down to this other place to visit. We stayed at this cabin that evening, or that night, and they had this huge, this place was a big old lodge that hunters stayed at, and they had this huge kitchen and living room, and then they also had this huge bathroom, nicer than most people's kitchens. So I was in there, and your dad came in, and we were about to walk out the door, and I was like, you know what, this is about as good a time as any. So started talking to him in there, because it was really the only place I'd found at that point to catch him by himself, I guess. It's pretty weird though, but
That's funny.
so I talked to him, and he was very open to the idea and basically encouraged me. So that next morning we went to this church, and after the service I asked you if I can go on a walk with you, right?
Yeah, well, during the service too, you asked to sit by me, but at that point you still hadn't, like, I still didn't know what was going on at that point. I didn't know if there was anything going on, so I thought it was really weird that you wanted to sit by me. Because you didn't tell me why or anything. You're just like, hey, can I sit by you? I wanted to sing by you, because we were all into singing, like we were singing bass, and I was, anyways, yeah.
So anyhow, then we, after the service, I asked you if I can go on a walk with you, and you seemed like you were all into that. So on our walk, I kind of let her know that what I was thinking and what I saw in you and all of that, and you were just all ready for it. It seemed like.
Yeah. What did you say? I think you said, I'd like to get to know you better. I'm pretty sure those are the exact words you said, and then I was like, yeah, I would too. Then what did you say? You were just like, did you say okay or something? Okay.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah. It was a really exciting time.
So that was the start of everything.
Yeah.
And one thing about our relationship from there on out was I always had this thought in the back of my mind, you know, being as young as you were, that eventually some doubts would creep in, and I'll rethink this and all of that. But that never happened. Sorry, I was looking for the road. But that never happened, and that was just a huge blessing to me. Like, it was all positive. You were all into it.
Yeah.
And never once seemed to doubt it.
It was a very steady relationship.
Yeah, it progressed really quickly.
Yeah.
Probably should have got married within a month after that, but we didn't, so had to endure for a while. Yeah, it got to where every time we'd see each other, it got torturous to leave.
Yeah.
Or I had to drive 8 hours to come down to see you every time.
Yeah.
And I'd always prolong it as long as possible. And I came down pretty regular, like at least every other weekend or so.
Yeah, maybe about that much. And that was torturous, those times in between when I couldn't see you. And like, talking on the phone is great and all that, but it's just not the same as being together. And that was really hard, those times in between. So we got engaged in March, right? Yeah, March 17th, I think, is the date. We took a walk behind my house, my parents' property there, and climbed up a little hill, and you proposed to me in the woods there, right? Had a really beautiful wreath. So we came back, told everybody we were engaged, and we set the wedding date for June 28th. So yeah, we got married on June 28th, and that was...
Moved down to Cane Creek, Tennessee.
Yeah. Lived there for 4 years, and then we moved out here to Colorado, and I can honestly say that that our love for each other has grown, just like a lot of people say it does, that it gets better with time. And yeah, I think these have been the best 7 years of my life so far.
Same here for sure.
I think they'll keep getting better.